Fans of Grey's Anatomy, eat your heart out. Not entirely sure that is an appropriate phrase, but anyway, in a first of its kind for New Zealand, a mock hospital ward complete with real doctors, nurses and patients is operating in a warehouse in an industrial Christchurch neighbourhood. A steady stream of visitors is beating a path to the door of the Canterbury District Health Board's world-leading design lab, including our reporter Rachel Graham.
Last week, the new $215 million Burwood Hospital opened in Christchurch, one part of an almost $1 billion construction project being undertaken around the region by the Canterbury District Health Board. But even before the new rooms were built at Burwood Hospital, they'd already been tested out in the design lab by medical staff and patients to see how they would work. Richard Hamilton, the Health Board's development manager, says that was just as well, as significant errors were found.
Issues about where the hoists are mounted in the ceiling, so rectifying that, how hoists and doorways work together, curtains and hoists are a biggie, where the sinks were located relative to beds. So lots of little details that when you're looking at a plan or when you're playing around with this cardboard, you just don't quite see those final details. So it was an opportunity to rectify all of those before we actually fitted out hundreds of rooms.
Richard Hamilton says over the last 3 years, the design lab has been used to gather information about what people want from the new facilities and how they will actually function. Once a plan is drawn up, it's built first in a rough form in cardboard, then heavier duty cardboard, and finally a real-life build using the actual materials. The Chief Executive of the Canterbury District Health Board, David Mates, says this process actually saves time and money in the long run.
It's actually made it a lot quicker and ultimately cheaper, because when you get to constructing it, it's already been designed, and therefore the ability to create or make errors in construction are reduced significantly.
The day RNZ News stopped by, a group of theatre nurses was visiting the design lab to check out what their theatres will look like in the new acute services building, which is currently under construction. Mary Laurie, the peri-operative nurse manager, says her team was getting a proper run-through of how the operating theatres might work and pointing out any problems which might arise.
We were looking on the plans and we had our linen and rubbish bins tucked around the corner, and as soon as we put them there today we realised we couldn't get access through to the door very well. So luckily that's a mobile thing, so we're going, right, well they can't live there then. So just some things as simple as that.
Richard Hamilton says the design lab has also been working on an innovative new layout for wards, which will create multi-bed wards with the advantages of a single bedroom. He says many patients like the companionship of multi-bed rooms, but don't like the loss of privacy. The new hybrid ward has 4 beds in a long room, with each having their own glass door.
There's a lot of interest around the world with what we're doing, because effectively what we've created is every bed has its own access way, which means every family can go in and just go to their own family member. There is a clinical side, there's a family side, so everything's organised in that environment, and we've effectively created a single room inside of a multi-bedded space.
Mr Hamilton says the lab has also hosted other health boards, the fire service, St John and schools, along with visitors from as far away as Europe. Given the level of interest, the design lab looks set to continue to be a bustling hospital ward for many years to come. In Christchurch for Checkpoint, Rachel Graham.
Almost at the end of Checkpoint, we've got a great piece of feedback coming up. But first, the recipient of one of the world's most expensive face transplants says he's feeling great 1 year after undergoing the groundbreaking surgery. Mississippi firefighter Patrick Hardison, whose face was burned off when the roof of a home collapsed on top of him 15 years ago, says he's off his feeding tubes and his vision has improved.